So now, this afternoon session, we will continue with painting, panel painting theme. We will have even larger scale paintings in a while, but now I want to invite Olena from Ukraine, our colleagues, on stage, and maybe, Olena, you will present your colleagues who helped to work on this presentation, but I'd like to introduce Olena from National Academy of Culture and Arts, and also director of Bureau of Scientific and Technical Expertise Art Lab in Ukraine. She's a chemist and art historian with her background. Do you find all good, ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
Prepared? You want to start with a selfie with me, or just straightforward? Okay.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I am glad to see you, and I would like to introduce you our study on Alexander Murashko's painting techniques through the lens of the scientific analysis. This research was conducted together with Svetlana Alexandrovna Biskulova from the Bureau of the Scientific and Technical Expertise Art Lab. Modern approach to the study and preservation of cultural heritage objects required an interdisciplinary methodology that includes art historians, conservators, and specialists in technological research cooperation. Objective data on the material composition of artworks obtained through physicochemical methods play a key role in artistic technique understanding and conservation strategies development. Last year, we celebrated an anniversary of Alexander Murashko, and it inspired a detailed investigation of his artworks from museums and private collections. This study presents the result of a comprehensive examination of his paintings and focusing on technological characteristics of its supports, grounds, paint layers, identification of pigment palette, and signatures. Alexander Murashko is one of the prominent Ukrainian artists of the late 18th, early 20th century. He was born in Kiev, and his education began at Kiev Drawing School that was founded by his uncle Mykola Murashko. After that, he graduated the Academy, Imperial Academy at St. Petersburg at the studio of Ilya Repin. He became a famous painter, and he took part at different exhibitions at the main art centers in Europe, and he was one of the he also played a huge role at the Ukrainian art education and was one of the founders of State Ukrainian Art Academy. Unfortunately, his life was short-cut when he was quite young, but his artistic heritage remains one of the central at Ukrainian art history. This study presents the result of comprehensive research of 10 Alexander Murashko's paintings from Ukrainian museums and private collections. That paintings were created during the end of 18th and the beginning of the 20th century. During our research, we use a multi-analytical approach that combined optical and physicochemical methods. Visual examination and microscope analysis was used to was applied for understanding the characteristic of supports, grounds, and artist's painting technique. Imaging in different ranges of spectrum was used for the preliminary investigation of the state of preservation of these paintings. As well as for revealing the underdrawings and compositional changes, and for preliminary investigation of the pigment composition. Elemental analysis of ground and paint layers was made by X-ray fluorescence spectrometer, and binders composition as well as pigment analysis and fillers was made by Fourier transform infrared analysis. Also, we determined edging degree in white paints, and time of painting creation was established. So the painting of Alexander Murashko from the end of 18th century are on this slide. All paintings were executed on fine graded line and canvases of plain width. No supply markers were detected on the versa, and all the canvases have approximately the same characteristics. The grounds were applied commercially. They all are thick and predominantly smooth. The main fillers of the grounds were lead white and calcium carbonate. Oil and animal glue was detected as binding media of the one of the portrait, and in other cases, only oil was identified. During the examination by the optical microscopy, it was identified that in one case, the underdrawings were applied using blue paint and transferring the imaging from the cartoon, and in other cases, charcoal underdrawings were revealed. The paint layers uneven thickness. In most cases, they were applied in a single stage with reworking over partially dry paints. Only in one case, when we studied the portrait of Zinaida Akinina, it was realized that that painting was executed in several stages. During physicochemical research, the main attention was paid to the composition of white paints in white brush strokes and in paint mixtures. The research shown that the composition of white paints changed significantly from the beginning of 1890s to the end of the 19th century. And even at the beginning of this period, author used mainly the mixture of lead white and zinc white. At the later period, he preferred zinc white pure or with admixtures with lead white pigment. His pigment palette at the end of 19th century was characterized by diversity and variability. Only vermilion and ochre was found in all the paintings. Green shades were obtained with Prussian blue mixtures and with chrome yellow mixture, as well as chromium oxide with zinc yellow mixtures. In two cases, copper-containing pigment was identified, and the further research shown that it was synthetic azurite. Calcium carbonate was used as a main filler in paints. So, thus, technological expertise of Murashko's early paintings shows that artists preferred commercially primed, fine-graded line and canvases with plain width. The grounds of these paintings were thin, white, and containing lead white and Chakas fillers. Predominantly charcoal underdrawings were detected. only in one case, and transference from the cartoon was used by the artist. Pigment palette of the paintings of the end of 19th century is diverse and reflecting development of technique and search of the optimal pigment compositions by the author. The painting of the beginning of the 20th century differs significantly from the earlier period. From the 1805, Murashko preferred linen canvases with plain weave. They can be divided into two different types, one of them of medium grain canvases and fine grain canvases. The only exception was the support of architect Schleifer portrait. Also, after 1910, were detected unprimed plywood and canvas mounted on the cardboard. In the case of portrait architect Schleifer, Murashko used plain weave cotton canvases, and research at the Röntgen light and the UV range shows that the painting was trimmed approximately 30%. Significant changes was at the ground composition and optical characteristics of the ground of the paintings from the beginning of the 20th century. In this period, author preferred self-prepared single-layer white grounds with animal glue as the main binder, and the fillers were calcium sulfide as hydroxide gypsum or semi-hydroxide gypsum. They were identified in mixture or with additives of calcium carbonate. Microscopic examination revealed the charcoal underdrawings. In several cases, the paint layer of these paintings was medium thickness with expressive brush strokes and partial uncompleted by the artist. Most of the paintings were made in several stages with subsequent reworkings and changing the color scheme. In some cases, compositional refinements were identified at the infrared spectrum. You can see on this slide that the necklace was replaced 3 times during the creating of the painting. And research in the transmitted infrared light shows the compositional changes during the creating of Zima winter painting. At the beginning of the 20th century, the pigment palette changes significantly in comparison of the early paintings. Only the mixture of zinc white and lead white was determined in the white paints of portraits of Singer and Andreev. In other cases, zinc white was the preliminary white pigment. The pigment palette of this period differs significantly from the earliest works. It becomes more selective with cadmium yellow and ultramarine blue used as a principal yellow and blue pigments. Gypsum was identified as a pigment in paint samples, suggesting the use of paints of French manufacturers, and calcium carbonate and barite was determined in some of the samples. The chronology of identified pigments together with oil medium aging degree confirmed that the paintings were created at the first quarter of the 20th century. So, in conclusion, in the later period, Murashko preferred fine and medium-grained plain weave canvases with thin, self-prepared white grounds based on calcium sulfide. It was established that the pigment palette of Murashko's Meiji period differs significantly from that of his early works, indicated a deliberate transformation to the artist's approach to the color construction. So, in conclusion, the application of modern optical and physicochemical methods has provided new insight into Murashko's technique. The study traces the evolution of his materials and working methods from the end of 18th century to the 1930s and contributes a better understanding of his artistic development. This result forms a valuable basis for attribution and conservation and to the development of technical art history in Ukraine. So I want to sincerely thank to the organizers of the conference for the opportunity to present our results, and special gratitude to the Armed Forces of Ukraine for their courage and protection that make it possible to continue scientific and professional work in Ukraine. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. A few questions from my side. Did you have to take any samples, or it's all non-destructive? The tear, for example, did you take samples or in a non-destructive, non-invasive manner?
Most of the research was undestructive because we use optical methods and X-ray analysis, and only for infrared spectroscopy we have to take very small samples using microscope.
Okay, great. And now when you have this study very well illustrates how artists move from commercial, ready-to-use products to more sophisticated handmade solutions as they evolve. And what next? What are you going to do with this database and this methodology further?
Actually, we are planning to continue this research because it was only 10 paintings investigations, and we have a gap from the beginning of the 20th century to 1805. It was his French period, and this artworks, unfortunately, was not in Ukraine, was not able for the research. Okay. And actually, all this research lasts only 3 months between the possibility for take them to the lab for the investigation and the beginning of the celebrating of his anniversary and the exhibitions that underwent during this winter. So we hope that we contain this research and to know more about his technique and these changes.
Okay, good luck with that. And questions maybe from the audience?
Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm wondering and curious about the imaging techniques that you have done with the modified camera. Do you also have like a program where to then calibrate these images, or how does it work?
Unfortunately, we don't, and actually in Ukraine we don't have any professional cameras for such research, but we hope that the situation will change in the future because we now take part in some grant programs. No, we don't have any application for working with images after taking them by camera.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No. Thank you, Elena, once again.
Thank you.
Good luck.